Events in history on July 16. 463. Start of lunar cycle of Hilarious. 622. Muslim era begins. Muhammad begins flight from Mecca to Medina Hijra. 1054. Beginning of the Great Schism between Western and Eastern churches. When Roman Cardinal Humbert issues bull of excommunication against Hilarious, Patriarch of Constantinople, on the altar of the Hagia Sophia, Constantinople. 1099. Crusaders herd Jews of Jerusalem into a synagogue and set it afire. 1212. Battle of Los Novos de Tolosa, Battle of Al-Uqab. Combined Christian army defeats Almohad Muslim force in a turning point for Muslim power on Iberian Peninsula. 1251. The Virgin Mary gives Simon Stark a brown scapular legend. 1338. The 6 electors of the Holy Roman Empire sign the Agreement of Rents confirming Emperor Louis IV. 1377. Richard II, aged 10, crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey, succeeding his grandfather Edward III. 1429. Joan of Arc and the French army enter the city of Rheims. 1439. Kissing is banned in England to stop the Black Death from spreading. 1465. Battle at Monterrey between Louis XI and the League of the Public Well. 1519. Public debate between Martin Luther and theologian Johann Eck at Pleissenberg Castle in Leipzig, during which Luther denies the divine right of the Pope. 1548. La Paz, Bolivia, is founded. 1573. Alva demands submission of Zeeland, Holland. 1618. Captain John Gilbert Paddon's first dredger in Britain. 1661. First banknotes in Europe are issued by Bank of Stockholm. 1683. Mantua Chinese Qing Dynasty naval forces. Under Commander Shi Lang defeat the Kingdom of Tunging in the Battle of Penghu, near the Pescadores Islands. Turkish troops under Kerem Mustafa reach Vienna. 1755. John Adams graduates Harvard. 1769. Father Junipero Serra founds Mission San Diego, the first mission in California. 1789. French King Louis XVI reinstates Jacques Necker as finance minister following riots at his dismissal. 1790. Congress declares the city of Washington, in the District of Columbia, the permanent capital of the United States. 1798. U.S. Public Health Service forms and U.S. Marine Hospital authorized. 1801. Pope Pius VII and First Consul Napoleon sign Concord. 1809. La Paz. Bolivia declares its independence from the Spanish crown and forms the Junta Directiva, led by Pedro Domingo Murillo, the first independent government in Spanish America. 1819. Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen sets sail to explore Antarctica for Tsar Alexander I. 1856. Statue of Lorenz Jonschkorster unveiled in Harlem. 1857. Sir Henry Havelock arrives at Battle of Cawnpore. 1862. David Farragut is first Rear Admiral in U.S. Navy. 1863. Utrecht Swells Railway opens. 1867. Amstel Hotel, the dignified old lady, opens in Amsterdam. Dia Averill of Ohio Paddon's ready-mix paint. Joseph Monier Paddon's reinforced concrete. 1880. Dr. Emily Stowe becomes the first woman licensed to practice medicine in Canada. 1894. Many Negro miners in Alabama killed by striking white miners. Treaty of Aoki-Kimberley signed between Japan and England. 1897. The South African Committee Investigating the Jameson raid releases its report finding that it was conducted almost implicitly through the support and encouragement of Cecil Rhodes and the mining houses in the Transvaal. 1900. A report appears in London that all foreigners in Peking, China, have been massacred, although soon exposed as false. The report helps mobilize support for relief of foreigners. Russia launched an offensive against the Chinese in Manchuria. 1901. The Fawcett Commission, headed by Millicent Fawcett, is established as a result of an outcry against the treatment of Afrikaners in concentration camps during the South African War. 1904. Islands of Manua Group Samoa ceded to US by their chiefs. 1912. Naval torpedo launched from an airplane patterns by Beatrice. 1914. Socialist Conference in Brussels Kautsky, Trotsky and Rosa Luxemburg. 1920. Gen. Amos Fries appointed first U.S. Army Chemical Warfare Chief. 1921. Encouraged by the British, King Constantine of Greece launches a drive to take Asia Minor from nationalists under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. 1924. Conference over German recovery payments begins in London. 1925. The first parliament in Iraq opened by King Faisal in Baghdad. 1926. Jasper government asks authority to save Belgian franc. National Geographic takes first natural colour undersea photos. 1927. Augusto Cesar Sandino begins 5.5-year war against U.S. occupation of Nicaragua. 1935. First automatic parking meter in the United States is installed in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 1936. First X-ray photo of arterial circulation, Rochester, NY. 1940. Adolf Hitler orders preparations for the invasion of Britain. Operation Cillian. NSBE of Woudenberg appointed as NBV trustee. 1941. 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. Highest temperature ever recorded in Seattle, Washington. 1942. French police arrest 13,152 Jews in Paris. Jews transported from Holland to extermination camp. 1945. First test detonation of an atomic bomb, Trinity Site, Alamogordo, New Mexico as part of the U.S. Manhattan Project. Cruiser Indianapolis leaves San Francisco with atom bomb. 1946. Attempt made to recall Mayor Latham. First time in San Francisco history. U.S. court-martial sentences 56 members of the SS to death. Battle of Bulge crimes in Dachau. 1950. Single-day 16-team H record set at 37 NL25, AL12. 1951. King Leopold III of Belgium abdicates. Len Hutton scores his 100th 100, Yorkshire v Surrey at the Oval. 1956. Karela Finnish SSR becomes part of Russian SFSR. King Faisal of Iraq begins visit to England. Last Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus under a canvas tent. 1957. U.S. Marine Major John Glenn sets transcontinental speed record. 3 hours, 28 minutes and 8 seconds. 1960. George Crowe sets record of 12 pinch hit H's with a runner on. 1963. Amazon River carries 190,000 cubic meters, sec of water record. 1964. Republican convention selects Barry Goldwater as presidential candidate. 1965. Mont Blanc Road tunnel between France and Italy opens. 1966. Nigeria becomes the first Anglophone independent state in Africa to become an associate member of European Economic Community. Number of banned persons in South Africa totals 936. The individuals are banned under various laws. Most prominently, the Suppression of Communism and Riotous Assembly Acts. 1967. Prison brawl ignites barracks, killing 37J, Florida. 1969. Apollo 11 launched, carrying first men to land on Moon. 1970. 9th British Commonwealth Games open in Edinburgh, Scotland. Iraq's constitution goes into effect. Reds spoil Pirates' debut in Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium, 3-2. 1971. Franco appoints Prince Juan Carlos as deputy in Spain. The Social Democratic and Labour Party SDLP withdraw from Stormont North Ireland Parliament. After no inquiry is announced into the shooting dead of Seamus Cusack and Desmond Beatty. 1972. Dimitrios Papadopoulos becomes 269th Patriarch of Constantinople. 1973. During Watergate hearings, Butterfield reveals existence of tapes. 1976. Rock duo Loggins and Messina break up after 6 years. 1979. Premier Prez al-Bakr of Iraq is succeeded by Saddam Hussein. 1980. Polish railway workers block railway to Russia. Ronald Reagan nominated for US President by Republicans in Detroit. 1981. India performs nuclear test. Shukuni Sasaki spins 72 plates simultaneously. 1982. CDC report on AIDS symptoms in 3 hemophiliacs. George P. Shultz is sworn in as the 60th U.S. Secretary of State. NASA launches Landsat to thematic map the Earth. Sun Myung Moon sentenced to 18 months for tax fraud. 1983. Sikorsky S-61 disaster. A helicopter crashes off the Isles of Scilly, causing 20 fatalities in Britain's worst helicopter accident. 1985. Bill to abolish Greater London Council receives royal assent. 1987. Great Britain performs nuclear test at Nevada test site. Said Awita runs world record 2,000 meters per minute 50 seconds and 81 milliseconds. 1988. Florence Joyner runs 100 meters in women's world record 10.49 seconds. San Antonio, Texas League beats Jackson 1-0 in 26 innings. 1989. South Africa's largest labour federation, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, holds its 3rd annual Congress and intensifies its campaign against apartheid. 1990. 400 die in a 7.7 earthquake in the Philippines. Civil trial by parents of suicide victims against Judas Priest begins. NYC's Empire State Building catches by no fatalities. The ANC sent a report on police violence to President F.W. de Klerk and demanded an end to the shocking inhumanity of police action in rural areas of South Africa. Ukraine declares independence. 1993. President Lasuba calls emergency rule in Congo-Brazzaville. Esban Rysdale's winter landscape sold for £705,500 in London. 1994. Comet Shoemaker Levy first collides with Jupiter. Collisions continue until the 22nd of July. Spanish fishing boats sink a French fishing boat. Overfishing riots. 1999. John F. Kennedy Jr. His wife Carolyn Bissett Kennedy and sister-in-law Lauren Bissett are killed in a plane crash off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. The Piper Saratoga aircraft was piloted by Kennedy. 2004. Millennium Park, considered the first and most ambitious architectural project in the early 21st century for Chicago, is open to the public by Mayor Richard M. Daley. 2005. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, The sixth book in the series by J.K. Rowling is published worldwide. 9 million copies sell in 24 hours. 2007. An earthquake of magnitude 6.8 and aftershock of 6. 6 occurs off the Nagata coast, Japan, killing 8 people with at least 800 injured and damaging a nuclear power plant. See 2007 Chutsu offshore earthquake. 2008. Malaysian politician Anwar Ibrahim is arrested on sodomy charges. In Malaysia. 2011. NASA's Dawn space probe enters orbit around the protoplanet Vesta. 2013. 27 children are killed, and 25 are hospitalized after eating lunch contaminated with insecticide in India. 2014. Bashar al-Assad is sworn in for a third term as president of Syria. Death toll within Gaza surpasses 200 people, following airstrikes by Israel. Hamas and Islamic Jihad offer Israel a 10-year truce with 10 conditions, which include lifting the blockade and the release of prisoners. It is rejected. Israel intensifies strikes on Gaza. 2015. Scientists reveal first close-up pictures of Pluto, sent by the New Horizons probe. Shootings in Chattanooga at a U.S. military recruitment center and a Naval Reserve training center kill 5 and injure others. 2016. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump announces Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his vice presidential running mate. 2018. 12 new moons discovered, all but in Jupiter, bringing planet's moon total to 79 by scientists at Carnegie Institution for Science. Historic Cemetery 1878 to 1911 announced discovered near Houston, Texas, containing 95 remains thought to be African Americans forced into labor. U.S. President Donald Trump appears to accept the word of Russian President Vladimir Putin over U.S. intelligence services about Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election. In an interview after the two leaders' Helsinki summit,